always.
have a problem in Denver. Greetings.
Oh, you didn't have a direct flight?
No, I went through Denver.
That just makes it feel twice as long.
Sat there maybe 45 minutes.
I've got 4 o'clock.
It says, well, I hate to tell you this, but I've
Probably should go by that.
Oh, come on.
been on the plane, and I can't get to the hotel and back to Denver. So we called it 45. And then they came in and said, well, we can't do the flight because you can't just fly. So stay there.
That would have been logical.
Appropriate,
Yeah.
you know.
No.
So then they put us on a different flight that nobody knew if there were if there was sufficient room on this other plane that was going to Wichita. So everybody's like hauling us through the airport.
Yeah. Elbow in front.
Yeah. So I got like 13th in line.
Yeah.
We come to find out the plane was parked. So then we had to wait for everybody.
Can you reset that clock?
We can, yes.
I got 4.
Dr. Van Hooser will be here. He may be hours late. He said he had another meeting he was coming from. Oh, yeah.
I could.
Felt like he's left the building.
At the same time.
Not too many young people know what we're talking
Probably less frustration.
I think I didn't think about that. Hi, Joe.
That'll be good.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
All right.
Sorry, I got on the phone and.
That's okay. That's okay. Then I listened to your message later, so I'll answer you after the meeting. Sounds good. Yeah, that's right. I don't think Tammy could be here. That's correct.
How late do you think?
Tammy's not gonna join us tonight?
Did you see him in the hallway, or?
Who?
Well, too bad. He'll show up.
You could give him a minute or so if you want. We'll get started.
That's why it's up here.
I know.
Who's threatening any second now?
Keep your eye on my left hand.
Depends what time you put on when you're gonna be finished, when we're gonna start.
Yeah.
I am ambidextrous. I've got a bad left shoulder, and it tells me not to do a lot of things.
He hadn't read it yet, so I don't know. He's usually pretty quick on the
Mhm.
draw.
Chris is seeing ghosts in the hallway.
Let's call the meeting to order. We're all present except for Tammy and David. Item 2, approve additional local share funds to Oklahoma Department of Transportation in the amount of $642,488.93 for the roadway and trail improvement project, Willow Road, project number R-0303A, and authorize additional payment of the local share of the project.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve in a second. Comments? Questions? I have a question. I don't understand what the total amount is,
Okay.
and why. Please, go ahead.
Okay.
Be sure to speak into the mic.
All right. Let's look at the total amounts. I'll just keep a couple of slides over here. Okay. All right, on that slide, we can see that the local funds approved at the previous meeting were at $1.9 million. And this additional amount is $642,000, and making the total of the local share $2.55 million. Now, the federal funds remain the same, and those are at $1.57 million, making the total amount of the project 4.12.
What federal funds are involved?
Federal funds are for road and trail. For the roadway, we have $1 million, and that's from the Oklahoma Department of Transportation.
Federal funds were for how much?
$1.57 million.
Those are federal funds?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and not the City of Enid funds?
No, not City of Enid.
And tell me why we have to rebid it?
All right.
Because of the rejection?
Yes, yes. And the project was rejected because ODOT only received one bid.
And now, when we rebid it, it looks like we're rebidding what they submitted the one bid for.
Yes, yes.
That's
And the
correct.
reason for that, when ODOT prepared the specifications for the project, they wanted the contractor to bid both concrete and asphalt.
That's correct.
Now, that particular need was difficult to meet from several contractors, because if you're a big asphalt contractor or big concrete contractor, you don't want to have a sub to do your work. They needed to provide both numbers. So the only contractor that bid just did for the asphalt, and they were over the limit of the engineer's estimate. So ODOT didn't feel confident with that bid received.
And they're rebidding the same thing that Cummins bid before?
They're rebidding for the asphalt portion only, taking into account that they couldn't probably get attention from bigger concrete contractors.
Tell me what the City of Enid's true cost is.
The City of Enid's cost, it's $3.9 million. That's the consultant's estimate on this project. But ODOT estimate is the 4.12 for the entire project.
So we're gonna spend $4 million on that mile.
We're gonna spend 2.55,
Pardon me?
2.5.
Total.
Of city money, yes, Mayor.
City money is 2.5?
million
Yes, sir,
Okay.
2.5.
City funds
Funds.
for that project. The rest of it comes from the federal government of about 1.5 million.
Okay. I saw the federal government name in there, but I didn't understand what their portion was. To me, it was just ODOT.
Those are federal grants, but they're routed through ODOT.
Okay.
Yes.
That went over my head somewhere in the last 2 years. Further discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-0. Item 2, discuss and take necessary action for entryway signage.
Yeah, let me go ahead and introduce that topic, and then I think Brent probably wants to talk a little bit about and show some slides. And then we have somebody signed up to talk about it. So, as you'll recall, at the last study session, there was a wayfinding signage update to all the commissioners. And as part of that, there was some discussion about Corbin Design had also looked at the entryway signage that we've discussed for quite some time. And several of you, in fact, maybe all of you, thought that that design was pretty good. And a couple of you have expressed a desire in us trying to pursue that, particularly since the money is still budgeted for this year. We are working with ERDA and Corbin to make that happen. It's going to be challenging because it's a public competitive bid project, and we've got to have, by law, it's got to be out for bid for 20 days. And typically, it takes 30-plus days for various reasons. So we do have the guideline, and then I think the spec information as of today, I think, is what we've got. So we've got to work through that with engineering and Corbin to get that package ready. We're going to make every effort to get that out and get it back to you as soon as possible. There's no way, I don't believe, that we could have it by June 21st, so it will require a special meeting by the last week of June, probably, if we're successful, maybe even June 30th. So we're willing to do that. I know you guys are too. And Brent, I think you've got some slides and
Actually, I didn't bring any slides. I do have some printouts of the,
Okay.
if you guys are interested. If not, I can explain it a little bit, but basically what we did. Even though I'm here on behalf of BRDA, I'm also here on behalf of the Enid First Team, because this has been a first team project, including Chamber and Main Street and Visit Enid and City of Enid. And appreciate this council's support on entrance signs, and believe that this is something that's very important for our community. But following the presentation, or prior to the presentation the other night, we had asked Corbin Design to at least take a look at our entrance signs and see if they had any suggestions for us, because the indication from you is that $60,000 a sign is probably too much, and that's probably true. They took a look at those and feel like they've designed something that would be closer to $40,000 once bid out. They have indicated at least 3 different companies around the United States that might be interested in bidding on this. There aren't very many companies that specifically look at entrance signs, and so it's a very small world that they live in. They put together a package for us. They'll be working with Chris and Gerald and city staff to make sure it fits within the box for the city. I think probably the big question that we'll need input on is the original placement of the sign on the east side of Enid was at 66th Street. And if you'll remember, there is electricity to the median at that spot, but there is not to the side. And I think it was going to cost 10 grand or something in order to bore under and put electricity there. We had asked Corbin, and I'm kind of agnostic when it comes to where the sign would be out to the east side, but we asked Corbin to take a look at that. Their suggestion back to us is that they would recommend that it be at the site where it is right now, and just demolish that one and replace it for 2 reasons. One, because the electricity is already there and you wouldn't have to bore under the street. But second recommendation is they said an entrance sign needs to be where commerce starts within your community. And putting something before the industrial parks and all of that doesn't make as much sense as putting it closer in by the golf course. They do this a lot more than I do, and so we asked them to put together a plan on the existing location. If this council wants us to put something together at 66th Street, we can do that as well. Really doesn't matter to us either way. But otherwise, we're just going to be working with city staff to get that out just as quickly as possible, and hopefully have something in your hands to vote on by the end of June.
So there's no action item for tonight?
No, there's really no action item tonight. This is more of an informational item, unless there is any action you want to take. The action will really come when the bids come back and we bring it back as an item. And just to follow up on the 30th Street, my thought is, and I guess as Chris works through it with them, the actual cost of the sign probably isn't going to be different. It probably isn't. The only difference would be electricity costs. And just to refresh your memory on what was voted on in April, the placement was at 66th Street, and electricity was not bid as part of that package because we thought they would charge too much to bring it in there, and we thought that we would just extend it from the median with OG&E separately. So I would recommend that we bid it out both ways, and the commission can determine whether they want it at 30th or 66th, or we can send it out just for 30th, or you guys get to make the decision on that. So
I think I prefer 30th personally.
Makes more sense.
Actually, the old one's just right across the new Hanwar building.
Yeah.
Call it 30th, but it's
Right.
halfway between that and 42nd.
Yeah.
Could we use the 2 signs you're taking down somewhere?
Probably as a bonfire.
Not on the major highways.
I don't think it probably would fit anywhere else.
We put too much work into the new logo to compromise that, I think.
Tell me about the budget, Gerald. You said it's in the
Yeah, there's-
budget for this year, being 2015, 2016?
yes, sir, there's $130,000 in the budget for this year. And as you know, that in next year's budget, there is no money. However, for this, you also know that you are quite capable of making budget amendments anytime the commission determines to do that, so. So we will make every effort to have it back by June the 30th, but if for any reason, despite our best efforts, that doesn't happen, we'll bring it back as soon as we can in July and take whatever action, or you guys can take whatever action is appropriate and necessary.
Good start from the $67,000 per. It was 67,000 or 64,000.
Basically going from 130,000 to 80,000, and like I told Gerald, if the bids come in at 50,000, I mean, that'll be up to you to decide what to do. Urban Design seems to think they'll come in pretty close to 40 though.
Come in at 15,000 apiece, we might have all four.
Yeah, Rodney will do a happy dance there.
We do have somebody signed up to speak.
Yes.
Diane? Name and address, please.
Diane Levesque, 1324 West Oak. And here's a reminder of the commission that I also speak on the behalf of my supporters when we bring up the following concerns. We've already had a theme with which the theme of the proposed wayfinding signs clash. And I'm talking about the state award-winning for Main Street Enid, the Keep Enid Beautiful signs that are already in place. They're brand new, they ain't broke, don't fix them. And my supporters are also concerned with possible waste with regards to that, given the track record of the Keep Enid Beautiful signage. Case in point, you have one sign of a point of interest in front of Garfield Furniture where, well, on the corner where Garfield Furniture is, and you have a duplicate sign on the corner where that furniture store is not. So you spend extra money for what exactly? We don't want to see that sort of waste in the future consideration. And we also don't want to see perfectly good signs that you just paid for, that you just gave your own award for in addition to Main Street Enid statewide award for, and just toss them out and replace them with something that is more cohesive with a different theme. Our theme isn't broke, don't fix it. Also, there's a matter of Enid First being involved in this, which is, I guess, a conglomerate of all of your marketing efforts under one big umbrella, which did what? Did it go to Autry Tech for design? No. Did it go to any of our local universities for design? No. It went to Michigan. My supporters believe that if you don't go to Enid First, you need to change your name from Enid First to Michigan First.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, I'd like to just make one correction to that, because the Point of Pride program that downtown uses to help with the corner nodes, those are private funds, just for everyone's reference. Businesses that are located on those corners donate about $1,800 a year to keep those corners up and to create the signs.
You're talking about the plaques?
The Point of Pride signs, yes, sir, that she referenced outside of Garfield. So for all of the thousands of people that are watching, I don't want you to think that that's city money. That's private money that we have good citizens in this community that stood up and took care of.
Thank you. Anything else, Ed?
No, thank you.
Item 4, consider convening into executive session pursuant to 25 Oklahoma Statute 307C10 to discuss matters pertaining to economic development, because an executive session is necessary to protect the confidentiality of the business, to reconvene into regular session to take any necessary action.
So moved.
Motion by Aaron,
Second?
second by Rodney. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 6-0.